We are live for the Badass Business Introvert interview series. Like always, I'm going to just do a moment to check and make sure that we're actually live on my page because, you know, social media loves to have tech issues sometimes. There we are. Perfect. We are live. I'm here today with KJ Blattenbauer. How are you doing today, KJ?
I'm great. How are you?
I am really good. So for those of you that don't know, KJ is a public relations professional with more than 21 years of experience promoting entrepreneurs and their brands. She is the founder of Hearsay, a public relations agency, and Vive and Joe. Is that how you say that?
Yes, that's how you say that.
Perfect. A dress line that's launching in 2018. KJ also helps name businesses with her naming company, Name Droppers, which is super cool. Originally from North Dakota, she now splits her time between her new home in Dallas and San Diego. She's married to a fellow entrepreneur and the mom to a rescue pup. You can follow KJ on Instagram at KJ Blattenbauer and at Hearsay PR. So I have two questions right away just from your bio.
Okay.
What kind of dog do you have? That's your rescue pup.
We have, my husband has had for 12 years, so I guess adopted dog. My adopted rescue dog is Georgia. She's a Chinook Sheltie mix, and she literally looks like the bear emoji on your phone.
Oh my God, cute.
Hilarious, and tons of attitude. I'm a big fan of hers.
Nice. That's awesome. Okay, my next one from your bio. Where in North Dakota are you from?
I'm from a small town called Jamestown, and it's about an hour west of Fargo. So you'll hear in my O's and my A's and my no's and some of my answers, you'll hear the Fargo movie accent.
Yes, I'm from Grand Forks. That's where I live right now. So when I saw that on your bio, I was like, oh my God, the only person I've ever talked to basically from North Dakota.
Oh, North Dakotan. I actually went to school in Grand Forks. So
really?
I'm Fighting Sioux, Fighting Hawk, whatever they're calling themselves these days.
Yes. That's awesome. That's so exciting. I'm totally going to be sharing this like everywhere, being like fellow North Dakota native and people.
Hey, I found another one. They're very rare. Everyone's out like, I've never met anyone from North Dakota. And I'm like, well, that's because there's like 6 people every mile. So there's
right. That's so exciting. I mean, even like I was talking to one of my friends this morning. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm interviewing this chick. And, you know, I was looking at your bio because I normally, when I get them in my email, I just check it off on my checklist that, okay, I have the bio. I'll read it beforehand, whatever. And I'm reading through it this morning. I'm like, oh, North Dakota. So you'll be very happy where you are right now because we got 2 inches of snow last night. It's April 12th. We still have snow. So I'm sure you remember those days.
Not fondly, but yes. Yes.
Perfect. Well, we will get into why we're actually here, which is talking about getting press, the 3-step process to getting the media's attention. So KJ is totally PR pro. So I'm really excited to learn from you today. And I know everyone watching is going to be really excited as well. So let's start off with what common mistakes do you see as a PR pro?
Oh, I see a lot. And I always try and be patient with people because you don't know what you don't know. And God bless them all for trying. I think it's messing up the timing. People get so excited about their news that they send things out way too early, or they forget and they send things out after the fact, or they send things out in the middle of a giant news story that has nothing to do with their pitch. And so even if theirs was excellent, if you're sending it out in the middle of election night, no one is going to be covering your story, no matter how cool it is. I think the second biggest thing I see is people who don't do their homework. Media folks do not want to see pitches that don't have anything to do with their industry. If you're talking about gardening, you're not sending someone in the tech industry a pitch, but it happens. Then there's the not paying attention to detail part of, not doing your homework where they misspell a name, or I was just talking to the interns about this yesterday, not to throw her under the bus, but if you're copying, pasting an email, which I advise never to do, you leave the name of the last person you sent the email to. So Cindy gets the email you sent to Jerry, and it's just makes you look kind of unprofessional. And so you can avoid that with like simple, taking time, slowing down, doing your research. I also think that there, especially in the tech world, too much jargon. If I don't know what you're talking about, if you can't explain it to your grandmother and a 6th grader in the same way, you're talking way over everyone's head. And then I think there's inappropriate methods to contact the media. I've been seeing this a lot lately. One of the bigger bloggers said, oh, I just reach out to people on Twitter, and now I'm watching people just ping and harass this poor reporter on Twitter. And there's a right way, appropriate way to contact the media. Some people like emails, some just like phone calls. Some are cool if you slide into their DMs. Others think you're creepy and you're never going to get covered. So I think it's, doing your research again and finding what the appropriate method is. So I'd say messing up timing, not doing homework, simple mistakes, too much jargon, and then being a creeper.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Those are good to know. And I see some of those, even though I'm not like someone that someone's reaching out to about something. But I see those mistakes being made sometimes, or have done them myself with the copy and paste email every once in a while. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, is there a way I can recall this email? So
Right. And there's no real way you can recall an email. We've all been there. I've made tons of these mistakes too. I still make a few every once in a while on a daily basis. But I think if you just stop and slow down, do your homework, you're going to be golden.
Yep. Perfect. So what is the number one PR tool any business owner can have?
I think a succinct, can't talk today, an easy to understand elevator speech or a brand bio that covers all your key messages is the best thing you can have for your brand and the best PR tool you can have. So, for those who don't know what that even is or call it something differently, to me, an elevator speech is 2 or 3 sentences that a business owner should be able to tell everyone as an expert in their field about, the people in their industry will know, as well as their grandmother, as well as that 6th grader, what their brand is about. Tell them what your brand is about, tell them why it's unique, and tell them who they serve. So if you can't do that about your brand in a simple way that people can understand it in 2 or 3 sentences, you don't know your brand well enough. You're never going to attract your target audience, and you're not going to get media attention. So I think the number one tool is the elevator speech.
That's awesome. I know people talk about the elevator speech a lot, but never kind of dig really into the importance of why to have it. And so that's good to hear like a little more on that, because, I've heard that a lot. Elevator speech, elevator speech, elevator speech, but it's like, okay, but why? So as looking at that on a PR perspective and knowing your brand, it really makes a bigger difference and makes you kind of want to push to actually get that fine polished, I guess. So
Right. And it's hard because it really does set you apart. So I'm about to launch a dress line, and I'll be honest, I had no idea what I was doing when I started. I can't even sew on a button, but I know that there are probably 1,000, if not more, dress lines launching this year. And I have to make sure that I know who my target audience is, what they want to hear, what their pain points are, and how my stuff is going to address that. And I have to do that in 2 or 3 sentences. Now, I've been doing this for 21 years, so I feel like I have a leg up on other people that might be trying to do their elevator speech, but it's still hard and it takes time. And I think that's where people kind of give up. If it's harder, it takes time, they don't want to do it. But it's so important to have that key piece. It's a foundation for everything you're going to do, from pitching to actual interviews to website copy and social media posts. You need that elevator speech.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And so what are a few good PR tips for new and even seasoned business owners?
I think we all can use a good reminder whether you're starting out or every 6 months or so, to revisit your key messages. The way you want people to think, talk, and feel about your brand. Always be updating those. Always make sure you're on them. 3 to 5, no more, real brief, but make sure that you have your key messages. There are amazing free services that will help you get in front of the media and know what they want to talk about without having to proactively do too much effort, which I know kind of freaks some people out. And that's Help a Reporter Out, or HARO, or there's a new service called One Pitch, and it's onepitch.co, and I'm in love with this website. But both provide you with real-time media opportunities for free. HARO is up to 3 times a day, where they send you by your industry or what you're interested in, what reporters are actually looking for, like what their story is going to cover, how you contact them, when the deadline is, what they need from you. So you can sign up for that for free through HARO. And then One Pitch, you submit your pitch, you check off a bunch of boxes, you put why it's unique, and they send it to journalists for you. And so that's a great way to pitch if you don't have a media list, are worried about time, are a little bit nervous about being proactive. I think that HARO and One Pitch are great tools. I think sharing helpful information with your target audience, even if it's not going to benefit you or sell a product, whether it's a blog, tips from your social media channels, or just speaking to community groups or other speaking opportunities, or doing like what we're doing here, just sharing your knowledge. I think that helps set you up as a trusted advisor. It helps set you up as an expert. It shows people that you know what you're doing, and it also personalizes the person behind the social media, or the person you might be hearing about, the person sending you all those emails trying to get you to purchase something. And people buy from people they like. They buy from people that they trust. Be a trustworthy person. And I think sharing helpful information does that. I also think that there are a lot of opportunities to share the news of your business that people overlook, whether you're seasoned or new, if you're hiring new staff, if you got a new client, if you redid your website or branding, if you won an award. Send out a press release. They're definitely not dead. There's free ways to do it. There's cheap ways to do it. There's my favorite way to do it, which is the PR Web 249 option. But it helps you get your name out there. It helps get you coverage across every industry you check, every area you check. It lives online forever. So you have that SEO, you have those backlinks. It's great fodder. You can direct people there. It can direct people to your website. You are controlling the message you're putting out there. So I think it's a great addition to anything you do to share the news of your business by press release. I also think we all could do, and I probably should have led this one, a PR vision board. And I know it sounds silly, but remember when you were a little kid and back in the day, now they have Pinterest, but back in the day, you'd rip out the magazines, you put it on the tag board, like, this is my dream house, this is my dream car, this will be my dream husband, all those weird things that I definitely did. You can do the same thing with your PR strategy, and it's going to lead to a PR plan. So create a PR vision board. You can list out media outlets you want to be written about, where you want to appear, and how you're going to make that happen. And so you're basically setting goals for yourself. You're showing yourself the tactics you're going to do to get those goals. You're manifesting it by putting it out there. You're not going to let yourself fail if other people have seen it and you've made it public. And then by creating all of this, you're creating a relevant strategy to consistently connect with reporters you care about, the media you care about, customers you care about. If press isn't even your thing, you just want to start promoting your business more, it's going to help you reach your customers, the media, and people you didn't even know wanted to be customers. The last thing that I make all of my clients do, and some groan, and some love it, but I'm a planner. So I think that creating a 12-month promotional calendar is the greatest thing. Taking a blank calendar, finding all those marketing holidays like National Cheeseburger Day, or I think today's National Grilled Cheese Day, or National Beer Day was last Saturday. All those things plus real holidays will help you lay out your promotions. They'll help you lay out your social media posts. They'll also help you lay out at least one thing you can pitch every month for the next year. And if you're just starting out, or you've never done PR before, if you've never practically done something, it can be overwhelming. But if you sit and you take one topic a month and you just pitch it out there, you're getting into the repetition of pitching. You're putting your name out there. It's not overwhelming. It's just one a month. And before the next year, this time you've done 12. So that's, I think, pretty amazing. But I think a 12-month pitch calendar, it also will keep you honest and you'll stick to a program. And so I think that that's a good thing too.
Awesome. There was so much information in there. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I've never heard of some of these websites. And so I'm like trying to jot them down nonchalantly. And now I bring it up. So it's not so nonchalant anymore. But, I've got the Hero and the One Pitch and the PR Web 249. These are really awesome resources I have never heard of. And so I know anyone watching this live or watching the replay or checking out any sort of audio of this later is really going to love these tidbits that you're giving, as well as this 12-month marketing calendar. Because I always forget how, like, when you post about those, like, strange holidays, like today is National Grilled Cheese Day. I saw someone post about that already. It just kind of blows up a little. I mean, it kind of goes, like, mini viral for some things, depending on what you're posting. And so that's really a good thing to put in there, too, just to get some more eyeballs on your business. And so I'm also like thinking as I'm looking at some of these, I'm like, oh, these come in real good handy for not just my business, but for like the local nonprofit that I run. And so I'm just like, these are great.
Sure. And, I think with those national holidays, it's light and it's fluffy. It's not hard news. It's not depressing. It's not another sign that society or the world needs a little more love. It's something we can all get behind. It's like reality TV. You're not going to really learn anything from it except how probably not to behave. But it's still kind of a train wreck you can't look away from. And so it's kind of the no-brain way to make another connection with a human being. And that's what I like about those marketing things. I do also have a post up on hearsaypr.com right now about my favorite 10 free PR tools. And so I think if you definitely could use some of those to help your nonprofit, but I think viewers, listeners, watchers can also use a lot of those 10 free tools because they're amazing. I use them every day.
Nice. Perfect. Yes, everyone needs to go check that out. I will be checking them out after this interview for sure. So next question for you. For someone who's going to do their own PR, where should they start?
Ooh. I think they should take 2 deep breaths, pour a big glass of wine. No, I'm just kidding. I think they should sit down and realistically define what their goals are. Yeah, we all want to be on the Today Show, but for real, who are you trying to reach? Who's your target customer? What messages are you trying to convey? And what stories can you share that are new or interesting? So have those goals. I think the next thing to do is lay out a plan for how you hope to achieve those goals. And I know I've probably beaten this horse to death, but you have to have a plan. It will really help you and save you tons of time. So what steps are you going to take to get to your goals and achieve them? You know, what tools or assistance are you going to need to get there? Is it free? Is it going to cost you money? Like, have a plan. Then decide your pitch angle. So what's going to make people care about your brand, your story, your nonprofit, what you're doing, the initiative, new initiative taken on, your new product? Who does it impact? Directly, indirectly, industry-wise? How timely is your story? And then media love the 3 U's. I don't know if everyone else calls them the 3 U's, but I call them the 3 U's. So is it unusual? Is it unorthodox? And is it unexpected? That's going to get coverage every single time. Like, I don't want to say the weirder the better. I'm not trying to make everyone like that Jackass show from MTV, but I think when you have a different spin on things, it definitely perks people's interest. They can only cover so many 5Ks, you know what I mean? But if yours is a unique 5K or a different spin on 5K, or it's really helping a charity and you have a personal story, you're the one that's going to move to the top of the line. Mm-hmm. I think you should also identify your media outlets and contacts, and that's going to take some time and some research. You can pay for services. They are very expensive, or you can do it yourself, which is how I've done it my way most of the time. Look through magazines at your Barnes & Noble, see who's covering what in your industry. Like if you're fashion, who's covering fashion, who's covering beauty, write their name down. If you go to the front of the magazine, it's going to show you the mailing address for that magazine. It also might tell you the phone number to call or an email address, or at least a way like john.doe@cosmopolitan.com, how they do their email, so you can guess how to email that person. Know how to spell their names, because no one wants to miss, like, it's weird. You want to say hello so-and-so, but if you say hello so-and-so, but you spelled it wrong, they're going to be like instantly turned off. And you don't want to make that first impression. You also can do all of this with the amazing Google machine. And I don't think people realize that. Just Google, look at Cosmopolitan, look at who's covering stuff. Google name and email address or contact email. It comes up real quick. We talked about the free PR tools, but I do love Haro. I do love One Pitch. I think they're amazing. And then just keep at it. You're not going to pitch everyone. If you pitch 10 people, you're not going to get 10 stories. If you do, you're this magical unicorn, and I probably should hire you. But, it takes time. PR is not quick wins. It's building a base. It's making people be comfortable with you. It's about influencing through relationships. And once they love your relationships, like what you're doing, then you're going to start to see some coverage. So you definitely have to keep at it. And have a thick skin. You're going to hear a lot of no's right away. That's fine. We've all been there. I hear them all the time still. But I think you can also start conversations and showcase your expertise on social media, and then make sure that you're measuring all of your efforts. Because if you're working real hard at something and it's not working, you're not going to want to keep doing that. It's just going to be a waste of your time. So I definitely think measure your efforts. But those are, I think, that's how I get started.
Awesome. Perfect. That the 3 U's, that was really interesting. The unusual, unorthodox, and unexpected. It kind of reminds me, there's someone I know in the local community who has a leggings company, and she made it unique and unexpected by making like a fashion bus, a mobile boutique. Yeah. And so she got a lot of media coverage with that because, there's a ton of people with legging companies, but she has this bus now with all branded out that drives around and has her mobile boutique. And so that kind of just reminded me of that and all the great coverage she was able to get because it was unique and unexpected. So
yeah, definitely. It's things like that. And it doesn't even have to be that far out of scope, but it's just it's getting back to that elevator speech. What makes you different from your competition? What makes your brand unique? What makes everything a little bit more shiny than the next thing? It's what's going to get you ahead. Media love it.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Awesome. That is a great way for people to get started. And another thing for when people are looking at kind of DIYing this or learning more about the PR industry, do you have any recommendations for podcasts or reads for those that want to kind of explore a little more on their own?
I do. Well, I mean, outside of this amazing thing that you have going and the podcast that you're going to be launching soon, I definitely want them to check out the hearsaypr.com blog. Every week there are new and helpful tips on there. I do Instagram lives every Wednesday at hearsaypr is the account. And it's 15 minutes where you can ask me any question. I'm going to give you the PR answer. And then I have a free Facebook group. It's facebook.com/groups/hearsaypr. I will answer any PR question 24/7. And I put a lot of other tidbits in there that are questions that people don't ask, but that come up. But I also am a huge fan of Julie Solomon has the Influencer podcast. And whether you want to be a blogger or not, no matter what your industry, no matter what your brand is, she does offer up helpful tips about how to position yourself. Not so much how to brand yourself, although she does cover that, but it's great. She gives me great refreshers every week about new ways to up my PR game, and I think she can do that for everyone's brand. So it's the Influencer Podcast with Julie Solomon. And then there's the PR Coach Your website, and I think it's directed around fashion and people who want to go into PR fashion, but there's also a section that's just for businesses or brands. Again, it skews towards fashion and beauty, but the principles apply everywhere, and it's great tidbits. So at the very least, I would get on that mailing list. So every Friday you get the tidbits.
Awesome. Sounds like there are a lot of great resources out there. I'm definitely going to be checking out your Facebook group as well and going and following you on Instagram. North Dakota girls got to stick together, you know.
Right, we got to stick together. There's only a few of us.
Oh, man. So that's great. Those are some great resources for the listeners to go check out. And so my next question for you is, do you think it is important to get your own PR agent as opposed to doing it yourself?
Oh. You know, I get a ton of crap from my peers from this every time I say it. They're not going to like it. But no, I don't think that you need a PR agent. I think you can do it yourself. Because you don't need to be or hire a PR professional pro to get the media to look at your brand. You don't need a pro like myself to cover your story. But you have to be willing to put in the work and the time that it takes to get the media's attention, to properly build a plan, to know what you're doing, to not only get their attention, but hold their attention. And it definitely takes time. If you don't have at least 30 hours a month minimum to devote to PR, then you need to think about hiring help to someone, because it's not just, oh, I'm going to pitch this and send out a couple emails. It takes time. You got to figure out what you're going to pitch, when you're going to pitch it, how you're going to pitch it, who you're going to pitch it to. And then there's a lot of back and forth follow-up if they respond. And if they don't respond, it's hunting them down until they do. No, I'm just kidding. But it does take time for the response and stuff. So if you don't have a minimum of 30 hours, you're not ready to do PR for yourself. And it might be time to hire a pro. Or if you don't want to put in the time, like I don't want to do my taxes. I don't want to do my bookkeeping. I hire a bookkeeper for that. And so if you don't want to do the media outreach, the research, the thinking of pitching, it's all overwhelming to you, or you're just not interested, PR pro time for you.
Perfect. That's a good way to look at it, because I don't know how much time that we're technically supposed to be putting into PR hours every month. I guess I don't myself log it. So thinking of it as like that 30 hours a month is a really good reminder. And I'm kind of sitting here oh, do I really have 30 hours?
Because, for something like you, if you have an episode like this, the rule of thumb is spend 20% of your time on the content and making it happen, and 80% of the time promoting it. Well, that promotion is PR, no matter how you spin it, whether it's ads or marketing or actually reaching out to other media to get coverage or showing that you're an expert. You're PRing yourself. So yeah, I go by the 80-20 rule.
Nice. Perfect. That is awesome. So I think that'll be really good for people who are kind of looking at PR and kind of what their strategy is going to be. And they're going to realize, if they actually need to hire someone at this time or not. So if they're ready to start hiring someone, what are some qualities a business owner should look for in a PR pro or agency?
I think you need to look for a personality that meshes well with your own. You're going to be spending a lot of time with these people, and you have to trust them. And if you aren't getting a good vibe from them, they are not for you, no matter what their resume says. I think you should look for someone who's a go-getter, is investigative in spirit, is an excellent storyteller, persuasive, detail-oriented, punctual, because punctual shows up, it's not even when you arrive to a meeting, it shows up in every other aspect of what you're doing. Detail-oriented, I already said that, didn't I? Yeah. They have to be a person that cultivates connections. You know, they have to be willing to connect you to so-and-so, this journalist, that journalist, this brand, this influencer. They have to know people. They have to have a deep Rolodex. They have to be someone who's willing to learn, whether it's in growth through PR and promoting your stuff, or about your industry, or about your brand. And they have to be someone with thick skin. You're going to get frustrated. They're going to get frustrated. People are going to tell them no. They have to be used to taking that. So if you're super sensitive, don't hire a PR person that's super sensitive. It will be a recipe for disaster. I also think you need to hire someone who isn't afraid to be brutally honest with you. So many people are yes people. They'll take on anything and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'll pitch that, no problem. And it's a horrible idea. It wastes your time. If you hired them, it might waste your money. You need to have someone that's like, hold up, that is the worst idea I've ever heard. Maybe they'll say it nicer, maybe they won't, but you'll know because your personalities will mesh. And you'd rather have someone tell you something's not going to work and why, versus wasting the time, energy, and money. So brutally honest.
Perfect. That's awesome. Those are great tips for what to look for when you're starting to hire someone. Do you have any other tips about PR for our listeners here today?
You know, I don't know if I have any additional tips, but I think I should probably hit the high points that we talked on, because it's so helpful, and PR is so easy once you just get yourself rolling. But definitely take advantage of all the free resources that you can. It's not expensive. PR doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg. I hear all the time, oh, it's such a luxury to have PR or a PR person. Anyone can do it. You PR things all the time when you tell your best friend you like a book, or when you ask them to look at your blog post, or when you post anything on Instagram. Like, you're promoting yourself, that's PR. I also think if you do your research, it's really important. You can learn so much from a trip to the bookstore to look at the magazines. You can learn so much from looking at industry blogs that cover your niche, or even just simply Googling what you don't know, or your competitors, or where they've appeared. I think it's crucial to have a plan. I think it's important to know your goals and really know what your goals are and be honest about them. Stick with that plan once you have one, because it's a roadmap. It's a guide that'll always keep you where your brand needs to be, in line with your branding and your morals, the values, the visions of your company. I think you need to get out there and pitch. It's really important. Don't be intimidated. What's the worst someone's going to say? No, they don't want to cover you. Someone else wants to cover you. On the other side of every no is a yes for someone else. So don't be afraid of rejection. I think that's cool, and definitely something that you have to embrace, like rejection. It'll just make you try harder. Trust me. And then don't be afraid to ask questions or ask for help. I ask my peers all the time for help with things. I ask my clients and customers all the time, what do you think of this? Should you do this differently? What does this make you think of when I say it? How do you like this pitch? I have been doing this for a very long time, and I still don't know everything. You're never going to know everything. And I think being humble and being able to ask questions or ask for help is going to help you go further. But those are the things that I think definitely would help out listeners.
Awesome. That is amazing. And you have a freebie to share with us today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I do. Because I want you to get out there and promote your brands, I have a variety of freebies over on the website, but the one I'm most excited about is there are 3 free pitch scripts for you. So it literally is a template where you can Mad Libs, add words, and position it towards your industry. So you're not going to be trapped in formatting when you promote your brand or your business or your new product. You just have to know the key facts about your product and plug and play it, and you can hit send on an email in no time and pitch. So definitely go grab those pitch scripts.
Awesome. And I did post the link to get to that in the comments below. It is the pinned comment. So it's right at the top there. So everyone should go check it out. If you're watching on some other format, it is in a description somewhere, because we want you to be able to get access to this as easily as possible. There's beautiful things on here. I mean, I'm looking at the page right now, different templates and checklists, and then she's got information on some other tabs about some of the services that she offers, which is great as well, because she's super knowledgeable. She's been on here. She's got so much great stuff that she shared with us today. So really excited, and thank you so much for all of the information that you have given us today. I know everyone's going to love this, whether they're watching live right now or they're checking out the replay. So Yes, that is, we are about out of time though. Otherwise, any final words before we go?
No, thank you so much for having me on. It has been a blast. And if anyone has any questions, they can feel free to reach out to me. Instagram is probably best, or if they want to hop in that Facebook group, I'm always in there helping out.
Perfect. Well, thank you everyone for catching us live and watching the replay. And thank you, KJ, for coming on for the interview today. Otherwise, I hope everyone has a great rest of their Thursday. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.